The blind date went wrong, until three little girls walked in saying, "Our daddy said sorry for being late." The rain had turned Miller's diner into a refuge of yellow light against the October darkness. Claire Harmon sat by the window, watching water streak down the glass in uneven lines, distorting the main street outside into something abstract and lonely. The coffee in front of her had gone cold 20 minutes ago. 20 minutes of waiting, of checking her phone, of feeling the familiar weight of disappointment settle into her chest like sediment. Her sister Emily had sworn this would be different. "He's a good man, Claire. Honest. Works with his hands. You need someone real for once." But real men apparently didn't show up. She was reaching for her purse when the door burst open. Three girls tumbled inside, breathless and rain-soaked, their sneakers squeaking against the checkerboard linoleum. The oldest, maybe 8 with dark braids coming undone, scanned the diner with fierce urgency. When her eyes landed on Claire, she ran forward with the determination of someone on a mission far more important than she should be carrying at her age. "Are you Claire?" The girl's voice cracked with relief. "Our daddy said to tell you he's sorry for being late. The truck broke down on Highway 20. Claire stared. Behind the oldest girl stood 2 more, one with freckles and gap teeth, clutching a sad bouquet of daisies wrapped in gas station paper, and the smallest, maybe 4 years old, with huge brown eyes brimming with tears that hadn't yet fallen. They looked at her like she was something precious, something they'd been told might disappear if they didn't hold on tight enough. Claire started, but couldn't finish. The door opened again. A man stumbled in, breathing hard, his flannel jacket dark with rain and streaked with grease. Ethan Cole looked exactly like his sister had described, tall, broad-shouldered, the kind of handsome that came from long days outdoors and not enough sleep. But Emily hadn't mentioned the exhaustion carved into the lines around his eyes, or the panic that crossed his face when he saw his daughters surrounding a stranger. "Jesus, I'm sorry." He ran a hand through his wet hair, making it stand up in directions. The alternator gave out just past the... He stopped, looked at his daughters, then at Claire. "This wasn't supposed to. They weren't supposed to come. I left them with my sister, but she..." Another breath. "I'm sorry, this is a disaster." The oldest girl whirled on him. "Daddy, you said if we didn't come get her, she'd leave." "Maya, that's not what I..." "She was about to leave." The middle girl, the one with freckles, held up the daisies like evidence. "We got these from Mrs. Patterson's garden. Well, Daddy bought them. We picked them." The smallest one started crying. Just tears, silent and devastating. Ethan closed his eyes. "Ruby, sweetheart, it's okay." But Claire was already moving. She didn't understand why. Maybe it was the teacher in her, the part that had spent 12 years learning to read children's unspoken fears. She knelt down in front of Ruby, ignoring the dampness seeping through her jeans from the wet floor. "Hey there." Her voice came out gentler than she'd meant it to. "I love daisies." Ruby looked up, hiccuping. "Really? Really? They're my favorite. Daddy said you're pretty," the freckled girl announced, then clapped her hand over her mouth. "Oops." Claire felt heat rise in her cheeks. She glanced up at Ethan, who looked like he wanted the diner floor to swallow him whole. "Hazel Grace Cole, we talked about this," he said weakly. "But you did," Maya insisted, loyal to truth above all else. "You said she looked nice in the picture Aunt Emily showed you. You said she had kind eyes." There was a long silence. The waitress, Dolores, who'd worked at Miller's for 30 years, stood behind the counter with a coffee pot, watching with undisguised interest. Claire stood up slowly. She should leave. This was complicated, messy, not what she'd signed up for. But she looked at Ethan's face, really looked, and saw something she recognized. The exhaustion wasn't just physical. It was the bone-deep tiredness of someone who'd been alone too long, who woke up every morning choosing to keep going for people who depended on him, who probably hadn't done anything for himself in years. "Sit down," she said. "You don't have to." "I know I don't have to." She pulled out a chair. "Sit." He sat. The girls scrambled into the booth, Maya and Hazel on one side, Ruby crawling into her father's lap. Dolores appeared with menus and a warmth in her eyes that suggested she'd been waiting for something like this. "Coffee, hun?" she asked Ethan. "Please, black." "And for these young ladies?" Dolores smiled at the girls. "Chocolate milk, hot cocoa. Can we have pancakes?" Hazel asked, looking at her father nervously. We already ate dinner, Ethan said, but gently. That was at 4 o'clock, Maya pointed out. It's past 7 now. Claire watched him calculate. The cost, the budget, the silent math of a man raising 3 kids on a mechanic's salary. She'd seen it before in her students' parents, the ones who worked 2 jobs and still came to parent-teacher conferences smelling like fryer grease or cleaning chemicals. Pancakes sound good, Claire said. I'm starving. Maybe we should get a big stack for the table. Ethan looked at her. Really looked, for the first time. His eyes were grey, the colour of storm clouds over empty fields. You don't... I want to, she said, and realised she meant it. The pancakes came, steaming and golden, swimming in butter. Ruby ate with fierce concentration, syrup on her chin. Hazel told a rambling story about her 3rd-grade teacher, Mr. Wilson, who had a glass eye and let them have extra recess. Maya sat quietly, watching Claire with an intensity that was unnerving. How long have you been teaching? She asked suddenly. 12 years, high school English. Do you like it? Most days. Some days are hard. Maya nodded, as if this confirmed something she'd suspected. Daddy's job is hard too. People yell at him when their cars aren't ready fast enough. Maya, Ethan said quietly. Well, they do. Claire stirred her fresh coffee. What happened to your truck? Alternator. Ironic, really, considering I fix cars for a living. He smiled, but it didn't quite reach his eyes. Had to call Tommy to bring his tow rig. He's watching the truck now. And your sister? Had an emergency with her son. Asthma attack. He's okay now, but... He gestured at the girls. They weren't supposed to be part of this. Emily said you were. She said this might be good for both of us, but I should have been honest. Should have told you I had kids. Should have... Stop, Claire said. He stopped. Did Emily tell you I'm divorced? He nodded. Did she tell you why? He shook his head. Claire looked out the window. The rain was letting up, leaving the streets slick and shining. Because I wanted kids. And he didn't. And by the time I realized he was never going to change his mind, I was 34 and felt like I'd wasted a decade on someone who couldn't see me. The diner seemed to grow quiet. Even Dolores had stopped moving behind the counter. I spent 2 years after the divorce thinking I'd missed my chance, Claire continued. Too old, too tired, too late for everything. And then Emily kept pushing me to date, and I kept saying no. And finally I said yes to tonight because... She laughed short and sharp. Because I thought maybe it would be nice to have dinner with someone who actually showed up. I'm sorry, Ethan started. You did show up, she interrupted. Late, covered in grease, with 3 daughters who ran through the rain to make sure I didn't leave. Most men I've dated couldn't be bothered to text back within an hour. Ruby had fallen asleep against her father's chest. Hazel was drawing pictures on her napkin with a crayon Dolores had provided. Maya was still watching Claire with those 2 old eyes. Our mom died, Maya said suddenly. 2 years ago. Cancer. Maya? Ethan's voice cracked. She should know, Daddy. If you like her, she should know. The weight of it settled over the table like snow. Claire felt something in her chest tighten and release at the same time. Grief for people she'd never met. Recognition of a wound that would never fully heal. I'm so sorry, she said. Her name was Sarah, Ethan said quietly. She was. She was good. She was really good. She made the best chocolate chip cookies, Hazel offered, with the big chunks. And she sang loud in the car, Maya added, even when she didn't know the words. They all sat with that for a moment, the ghost of Sarah Cole present and absent at the same time. I haven't dated since she died, Ethan said. Didn't want to, but Emily wore me down. Said the girls needed. Said I needed. He trailed off. This was a bad idea. You're probably thinking you should have left 20 minutes ago. Claire looked at him. At the grease still under his fingernails. At the way he held Ruby with such careful tenderness. At the exhaustion and decency written all over his face. She thought about her empty apartment, about the lesson plans waiting on her desk, about the quiet that had become her only companion. I'm thinking, she said slowly, that maybe things don't have to be perfect to be right. Ethan stared at her. I'm thinking maybe your truck breaking down wasn't the disaster you think it was. Maybe... She smiled at Maya, who was watching her with hope naked on her face. Maybe this is just a different kind of first date. You want to stay? Ethan asked, disbelief in his voice. "I'm already here," Claire said, "and the pancakes were good." Hazel giggled. Maya's shoulders relaxed for the first time all night. Ruby stirred, murmured something about daisies, and settled back to sleep. Outside, the rain had stopped. The streetlights of Cedar Falls reflected in puddles, turning Main Street into a river of gold. In the morning, Claire would wake up in her apartment and wonder if she'd made a mistake. Ethan would wake up in his farmhouse outside town and worry that he'd asked too much of a stranger who owed him nothing. But right now, in Miller's diner, with cold pancakes and sleeping children and the smell of coffee in the air, something small and stubborn bloomed between them. Not love, not yet, but the possibility of it, the courage to try again. Claire reached across the table and took one of the daisies from the sad bouquet. "Thank you for not giving up on me," she said to the girls. And Maya, serious, watchful Maya, smiled for the first time all night. "Our daddy said you looked like someone who stays."